a bell curve. So if you look at, what do schools look at? They look at scores above 650. What percentage of people, if you know the bell curve, you know the distribution, what percentage of people would get a 650 on a standard distribution? 24. What percentage would get a 700? 11. What percentage would get above? Again, it's just 1 and 2% of the test takers. So if you're looking at Harvard, you're looking at Cambridge schools, big names, it's those percentiles that are going to matter. Your application will only get looked at when you touch those scores. And given the way the test is designed, you think it's going to be easy to touch those scores. It's crazy. Because there, when the timer is on your head and you have this proctor looking very scary, 7:45 in the morning you have to wake up, get to the center, you're groggy, you're sleepy, and these questions, these passages come in front of you, and you know it's not really going to work. So what we do is teach you techniques, strategies, wherein no matter how complicated the passage is, we teach you what to look for because we know how, we can't really change, it's a standardized test. So we can't change the way they ask questions. They can't change the difficulty level of the test. Can they change the difficulty level of the test? Can today's test be more difficult than yesterday's or the yesterday's? Can it be like that? Because if a school is looking at applications, your score is valid for how many years? 5 years. But you can even reinstate your scores at any time. For SAT, there is no such limit. If you're taking the SAT once, the scores can be availed of at any time. And so if it is to be valid for 5 years, means that the test taker today and you apply to school maybe 2 years later, so you should match up to the score. The person who scored your score 2 years later also has to be comparable to you. Otherwise this test has no meaning. So they cannot change the test. So they change, how do they make things difficult? It's just by manipulating your head. Making you think in a particular way when they want a different answer to find. Okay? So this is what I told you, the section questions. And so we know how to beat them at the game, and that is by giving you good strategies. Okay? So now today, the new SAT has this in store for you. Words in context, they still test vocabulary. People may think they don't test vocabulary, they do test vocabulary. But however, vocabulary will occur in the passages that you read. So it will be in the reading section, it will be in the writing section, in the terms of vocabulary context questions. Command of essay, command of evidence, and you'll have math with real word problem, wherein again vocabulary will be important, understanding language will be important. Math is also not just going to be math, it's going to be a reading test. So how will you read? You're going to be looking at, you say reading is more interesting, it's not really going to be interesting because we're going to wade through a whole lot of American history and so you see those names, the Great Global Conversation and the US founding documents. These are the two major sources from which all passages are going to be extracted. And so your familiarity with these terms is going to be crucial. The vocabulary is, remember, in these, they are technical things, right? So vocabulary is crucial for these. The other changes are 4 answer choices instead of 5. Earlier it used to be 5 answer choices, now we do 4. Then there is a fixed order. Earlier it used to be random, only the first and the last section was fixed. Now you have reading, writing, language and math, so that eventually it is only 2 sections. In the sense you have math and you'll have one verbal section. So that's how the score has come down. From earlier it used to be more sections for every different thing. So now they've clubbed the reading and the writing together. And it comes under one head of writing and language. So you get one writing and language score and you get a math score. So that's why it's 2 800s, which leads to a 600. Okay? So there are proofreading and editing questions in, like these are just TPR terminologies for the simple reason we say you are meant to correct style, which comes under the head of editing, and you're meant to correct grammar and punctuation, which comes under the head of proofreading. So you proofread passages and you edit passages. These are the two things you would need to do in writing and language, okay? And of course, math has a lot more than what it earlier contained. Math was very basic class earlier. Now you have more things. You've got some trigonometry as well, right? Trigonometry is there and some higher math, okay? Okay, so this is the layout of the test. You've got evidence-based reading that I told you the two major sections. One is reading and writing and the other is math. Evidence-based reading writing will have reading and writing and language. The time for reading will be 65 minutes and there will be 52 questions. Imagine reading a passage, answering 52 questions and that too in 65 minutes. Doable? And what type of reading it is? All this arcane reading. We won't even set our eyes on it. Unless, of course, in history you have some part of American history and their revolutions and their internal conflicts. So those sort of things, if you're familiar with that vocabulary, you should know it's crazy. Math, of course, you'll have two sections, one without calculator and one with the calculator. Now, people think calculator is crucial to the test. Is it really crucial to the test? The types of questions they ask, if you use a calculator, it will take longer than if you work without a calculator. And we're far better at our math than Americans. We don't need calculators. Okay? And of course, the essay is optional. But do you think it's a good idea to keep it optional? Well, so how many of you don't plan to write the essay? So why would they keep it optional? So what these guys have done, if you're taking the essay, you don't have to write the experimental section. And if you write the essay, then you don't have to write the experimental section. So you're not going to be let loose. You have to sit those 50 minutes. It won't be like anything field. So which do you think is better, write the essay or write the experimental section and help these guys prepare crazier tests for the students to come? You want the experimental section and help them make more money. Okay. Second thing, schools, why do we have an option? Because some schools accept the essay, some schools don't want an essay. Now suppose the school you want to apply to suddenly and you change your mind about a course and that particular school wants an essay, what will you do? When you did not take the essay. Can you just take the essay section for a particular test? You'll have to sit through the entire SAT all over again. How would that be a good idea? So we never know which schools want to take the SAT, which don't want to take the SAT, and so it's want the essay or don't want the essay, it's the advice that you do take the essay. It's it's crucial to your scope, plus it will avoid you having to take and retake the test each time, okay? So these are other sections. They are giving sub-scores just to match the ACT, similar kinds of scores. They want to check how good you are at analysis in science, history, social studies, and they've got sub-scores beyond that. So you have 10 to 40 scores will be for the two major sections, and 200 and 800 will be the scale score from the raw score. Okay, so these details we can give you once you start your course. So our course offers you with an in-class book wherein we will be presenting you with the strategies, the lessons and the practice questions. There will be workbooks for both math and verbal, because it's like swimming. You cannot expect to learn to take the SAT unless you actually write tests and practice questions that way. So strategies have to be learned only by doing. So it's not a content thing, it's more going to be strategy oriented. So we've got a lot of practice for you. Then we got online content in the terms of test drills and also the videos where there are recorded lessons that you can watch and replay each time you want to. And there are practice questions and stuff. Okay? So these are just a few snippets from our course workbook. So you'll see 5 passages in the reading section. One which will be from literature, from anywhere. It could be anything. It could be right from Indian literature to